Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with one more message, a message from the Spirit of Truth. What a joy to feel the embrace of the good spirits. And this book, published in 1961 in Brazil, thanks to the mediumship of Chico Xavier, here he is behind me, and Waldo Vieira, two mediums in the city of Uberaba, in Brazil, bringing messages that today console our hearts, illuminate our minds. Wow, what a gift, isn't it, friends? So, Meimei is the author today. Who is Meimei? Meimei is the spirit friend who was married in her last incarnation. She was married to a man, Arnaldo Rocha, who became the, let's say, mediumistically, the right hand of Chico Xavier, in the sense, he's the counselor, the spiritual counselor. Meimei discarnated very early, but in the spiritual realm, she has been a blessing, taking care of children in the spiritual realm. She is the educator par excellence. And here we bring her today, reminding us about the others. She's reminding us about the needs of others. Where do you think you are in terms of altruism? Think of a scale 0 to 10. Let us think together, you and I, all of us, 0 to 10. 0 being not charitable and altruistic, and then 10 altruistic. What is altruism? Is when we put the needs of others first, before ours. Wow. Where do you think you are? 0 to 10. Don't be ashamed. Let us double check, because once we bring it to consciousness, we can change. That's why Meimei today is boosting that feeling in us, the altruistic feelings. In neuroscience, there is a structure right here in this on this side of our brain, the temporal lobes, that is activated more specifically when we feel altruistic. When we feel altruistic, imaging studies. So Meimei today comes to boost that area in us, awareness about others. And she was inspired, paying tribute to a specific section in the book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. It's chapter 13, item 13. And chapter 13 is titled, Let not your right hand know what your left hand has done. Wow, what a message. And here, the Spirit carried us in 1861, 100 years before Meimei's message. She brings this beautiful text by Caritas, a martyr of Christianity in Rome, came and said, and I will just pinpoint a few phrases here, I am called charity, and I am the main road leading to God. Follow me, for I am the goal toward which you all must strive. Charity, the main road to God. What a saying. And she says to us at the very end of this message, I, and she says this because she's talking about, my friends, I say to you, everywhere abound unfortunates, whose cupboards are without bread, whose hearts are without fire, whose beds are without blankets. I do not tell you what you should do. I leave the initiative to your good hearts. But if I ask, I also give, and I give much. I invite you to a great banquet and I furnish you with the tree from which you will all be filled. Fear not. Follow me, my friends. I will lead you along the way to salvation, for I am charity. Without charity, there is no salvation. Meimei today is telling us that we need to think of others. Charity. She says, and I'm reading here the translation by Kardec Radio's team. You say you bring the desert in your heart. However, think of others. Many tread your tracks, looking for your hands in the great void. Stop for a while and notice the presence of shadows in the rear guard. As you shout about your loneliness, you will understand that the voice of them is dying in the throat through long moans. Turn around and see. Compare your sturdy arms to the bare bones that still support their sad hands, where withered fingers are thorns of pain. Dry your tears and watch the weary eyes that contemplate you. They tell you the story of hopes and dreams that time buried in the sand of frustration. They refer to the biting cold of the lost home and the agony of the foliage in the darkness. Stop and feel compassion for them. Let them breathe even for a moment in the warmth of your breath. Who can measure the extent of the magnitude of a simple seed fallen in the land that the plow martyred? The beauty of a minute teaches us many times to populate the whole existence with joy and light. An ancient legend says that a raindrop fell on the ocean that the storm had agitated and distressed. Asked, Heavenly God, what will I do alone in this terrifying abyss? The Father did not answer it, but later the simple drop was taken to the sea, converted into a pearl to adorn the crown of a king. You also give something of yourself to those who fight in the whirlwind of suffering, and even if you can offer only a drop of your love to those who suffer, your gift will be filtered by the currents of human anguish and will rise, crystalline and luminescent, towards the heavens to decorate the glory of God. Wow. In this pandemic, how many of us often we say, oh my gosh, I can't stand it anymore. You say you bring the desert in your heart, she's saying, Meimei is saying. But she says, think of others. Think of others who are discarnated without the last goodbye, without preparing. Think of those who remain and have to figure out how to go on. Let us together think about those who do not have the minimum means to protect themselves during this pandemic. We need to think of others. She says, Mimi says, stop and feel the compassion for them. I think today, Mimi, the style, the way she writes, these are affirmations that we can use in our day to day life to stop the negative train of thoughts. It's so important to cultivate positive thinking, but sometimes people don't know, right? How to shift it. So Meimei says, you're thinking something negative like you have less? She says, think of others. So let's write down, think of others. When I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my life, think of others' lives. And then she says, stop for a while and notice the presence of the shadows in the rear guard. So when you're thinking of negativity, she says, stop for a while. Turn around and see, she says. Turn around and see. She's in the, she gives us commands. She's almost like a physical education teacher today, telling us very practically movements of the soul. She's saying, think of others. Stop for a while. Turn around and see. And then we're thinking, oh, I'm lonely. She says, turn around and see. Compare. Dry your tears and watch the weary eyes that contemplate you. And then you keep thinking about, oh my gosh. She says, stop and feel compassion for them. She is giving us, it says, a physical education teacher saying, stand up, go down, turn around, to the left, to the right, right? Meimei is now our coach. And she's saying, you're thinking too much of yourself, self pity. Oh, self pity is so bad. Self pity is so bad. Andre Luiz, in the book No Solar, will never forget. He learns the lesson how self pity is detrimental to us. But Meimei today comes and says, you're feeling lonely. You think your life is too hard. You think, she says, think of others. Turn around and see. Stop and feel compassion for them. And she finishes with a major story and the wrap up, the commandment. Because sometimes you may say, but Vanessa, who am I to give something? I barely have a home. I barely have a job. I barely have health. I barely, and that's exactly what she says. She knows what we feel. Oh, feel compassion, but who am I to help? I'm so small. I'm so. So she says the story of the drop, the little drop, the raindrop that fell in the big ocean during a storm. And the drop was like, oh God, please, what am I going to do? What am I going to do alone in this storm? And that's how we feel during the pandemic. Oh my gosh. And then God doesn't answer. But since the drop is there, he transformed the drop into a pearl that later was transformed to put on the head of a king. So Meimei is saying, if you doubt that others need you today, not tomorrow, today, give something of yourself, she says. So that's the last command. Give something of ourselves to others. Something. Something. Because she says, even if you can offer only a drop of love to those who suffer, your gift will be filtered by the currents of human anguish and will rise crystalline, luminescent towards the heavens to decorate the glory of God. Because at the end of the day, we are working in God's universe. It's not about us, it's about God. We need to serve because God created us and it still sustains us. Now, let's go back. How altruistic are you feeling now? Think of the scale 0 to 10. How altruistic you think you're feeling. 0 being not altruistic at all, and then 10, very altruistic. Thinking of others. So let us recall in the next 24 hours, you and I will recall the commands of our personal trainer, Meimei. What an honor. She's going to give us commands during the day. When we're thinking, oh, poor me, she's saying, think of others. I'm lonely. She's saying, stop, turn around and see. And then when we feel, oh, but stop, feel compassion for others. And then we're like, but who am I? And then she's going to come during the day and say, give something of yourself to those who need it. And we're going to decorate the glory of God. Wow, what a message. What a message. Let us remain with this feeling of charity. As Caritas says in this Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 13, item 13, she says that charity is the main road leading to God. So thinking of others is the main road that leads us to happiness, to God. Thank you, friends, for being here with us one more day in this moment, feeling the presence of the Spirit of truth. Let us rejoice and share the good news because the good news can only do good. Thank you, friends.